Meeting of the Harwich Conservation Commission will come to order. This is a hybrid meeting. All the information to log on or access the meeting is available on the Harwich website. And begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first hearing is a request for determination of applicability, Donnelly Family Trust at 370 Pleasant Bay Road, map 115, parcel C1-3.
Good evening. Dan Croto from Moran Engineering, here for the Donnellys. They're looking to remove the existing deck that's in back of the house and put up an addition in the place of the deck, and then a smaller deck to the west side. There's a working cranberry bog to the north, and there's the Cape Cod National Golf Course on the other side. The project is more than 100 feet from the top of the bank of the bog. This is a case where it's lowland from the bog all the way down to Pleasant Bay, so it's becomes a coastal floodplain. And then by the 1992 DEP coastal bank determinations, it creates a coastal bank at the floodplain level, because the slope at the floodplain is greater than the 1 in 10, which isn't much of a slope. So this is actually a coastal bank, regulatory by the DEP, and it falls within that. So we think it qualifies for an RDA because it'll have, it's more than 100 from the actual wetland plants and wetland soils, and it should have no impact at all on the wetlands to be protected. And in addition, there is a mitigation calc for the area that's within the 100 feet of the coastal bank, the 93 square feet. And so we're doubling that per the commission's requirements, and filling in a few areas of the backyard. And it's not a lawn. It's a pretty natural backyard to anybody that went out and saw it. And then we're going to take the plan is to take the roof drainage off the new structure and go to a dry well because of the slope down towards the cranberry bog. And so that's it. So we think that it qualifies not to need an NOI because we don't see it having any impact on the wetland resources. And that's about it from here.
Okay. Amy, would you like to
Sure.
go through this?
Sure. A majority of this project takes place on existing footprint, and it is at its closest about 80 feet at closest to the top of the bank along the edge of the bog. It's in an existing disturbed area, and you do have a revised plan that came in that shows, because I mentioned that they do need to mitigate at a 2-to-1 ratio for any new structure in the 50 to 100. So they have proposed some high bush blueberry shrubs. Those should do okay in the area, but I always caution people with high bush blueberry that the deer love them an awful lot. So there are other options, and I could put that in if this gets permitted, such as sweet pepper bush or viburnum, which They'll still eat, but they seem to really like blueberries. So, I would recommend an approval for this with a -3 determination, as it's buffer zone only.
Very well.
They keep it very natural, so.
We
I
hear
don't
from
have
the
anything,
commissioners?
Mark. No.
No questions, pretty straightforward.
I have no questions either. Anyone in the audience have any remarks, questions, comments, or online? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
I'll move that we approve the RDA for 370 Pleasant View Road, map 115, parcel C1-3.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Next hearing is a notice of intent for Peter and Linda Cure, 114 Clearwater Drive, map 63, parcel G103-A.
Dan Croto from Moran Engineering, here with Kevin Blute and Lori Blute from Schoolhouse Construction. The owners are in Florida, where they winter, so we're here for them. There's a current deck. They want to put a sunroom where the deck is. They have a patio in back, which has been permitted through conservation a few years ago. And they're just looking for a area to enjoy the pond and not have to encounter mosquitoes during some of the really bad months on the pond, mosquito-wise. So the idea would be to take the deck down, put the new building on tubes and posts also, the new structure, have a real small deck in front. There's a small reduction within the 50-foot setback, and but overall, there's an increase of 50 square feet within the, including the 50 to 100 setback. So they have an area, and I supplied pictures of the area, but it's a pretty vegetated lot, but there is an area, that's pretty barren, and so we're showing that 100 square feet mitigation, the inkberry shrubs in that area, and then the plants that are currently, there's native plants along the deck, those will be saved. They'd have to be removed and then saved and then put back after the construction is complete. Again, the roof drainage will go to a gutters and downspouts and dry wells. And so there's a small decrease within the 50 feet, and there's a small increase in mitigation plantings, and then the owners can have that room that they want. It's completely covered in glass. We went through Board of Health last night to get their approval because the septic's 98 or so feet from not the pond itself, but the wetland to the pond. So it had any increase in habitable space had to get their approval. So there's no changes at all to the septic system. Septic system itself is on the down gradient side of Buck's Pond, meaning that the water flows not from the septic to the pond, it flows from the pond towards Nantucket Sound. So it's not generally, it's not, doesn't impact the pond like the north side septic systems do. So that's about it. We went through the whole pond, and then I think at a 100-foot buffer on some not very accurate map, puts the area in the natural heritage and endangered species as a probable habitat, or what would be a good habitat for some of their species, but they did review it and signed off that it would be, that they approved the project, and there was a no-take in their words. I think that's about it. Do you have anything to add, Kevin, at all? I don't know if,
Well, you covered it very
pretty
nicely.
well. I think we submitted the plans. I don't know if I gave you every page, but it shows pretty well that it's definitely a sunroom. It's not a bedroom or anything like that. And that's about it. So I'll leave it with that and ask for questions.
Amy?
Thank you. This is a notice of intent, because the work takes place on and within the 50-foot no disturb zone, and also within your 60-foot no new structure setback. So there already is a structure in this location. The vast majority of the work will take place in the footprint of the existing deck. The expansion is outside of the 50-foot buffer, so they're asking for a variance to your no disturb zone bylaw, as well as a variance from your 60-foot no new structures or additions. This is on the road side of the house. There's quite a bit more permitted structure towards the water. Several years ago, this patio was permitted because there was actually, believe it or not, a lower patio closer to the pond. And we asked them to kind of consolidate, so everything else you see beyond the patio has really been left to naturalize. The area that they've proposed for mitigation of 100 square feet of inkberry is the barest of the spots, and inkberry does well on this site based on their other plants that they've put in. So they've done appropriate mitigation for the 50 to 100-foot buffer. They do have a DEP file number, and they did get that, what we call a no-take letter from Natural Heritage. Heritage is likely more concerned with something closer to the pond edge itself. This being up where existing structure is, not a concern, so I would recommend approval of the project.
Very well. Commissioners, Mr. Wayne?
I don't have anything, Mark.
Okay.
Pretty simple.
No, it looks pretty straightforward.
No questions for me?
I think because there's already a structure there, and none of the variance doesn't seem to be an issue. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I would agree as well. I mean, as I see it, with the minor addition in the square footage between the mitigation and the addition of a dry well to catch any runoff, I think that lessens the impact a little bit. So, are there any questions or remarks from the audience or online? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the plan for 114 Clearwater Drive, map 63, parcel G 103-A.
Seconded.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thanks for the time of reviewing.
Next hearing is notice of intent for Tom and Judy Lane, 80 Hoyt Road, map 15, parcel K4-1, SE 322626.
Good evening.
Hi.
Hi, Rick Grady from Grady Consulting, along with the applicants, Tom and Judy Lane. This is their existing home at number 80 Hoyt Road. It's adjacent to the Bank Street Boggs Nature Preserve, or Robert F. Smith Cold Brook Preserve. There's a path actually associated with that along their westerly boundary within an easement for access to the preserve. There's a perennial stream within the preserved area, which we've depicted on the plan that we've submitted. The applicants would like to construct a 16-foot by 18-foot addition to their existing home as depicted on the plan. It is within the riverfront area and the 100-foot buffer zone. We're approximately 63 feet from the closest point to the wetland line there. Excuse me. They plan on this being a retirement home. The addition will enable them to age in place and make some modifications in the future to the interior of the floor plan to provide for first floor living. The existing house itself is about 1,800 square feet. 580 square feet of that is the existing garage, so they've got about 1,200 square feet of living space on that first floor. Some fairly small rooms, which really aren't suitable for future first floor living when that time arises. The addition itself will be constructed on the westerly side of the existing home. It will encompass and remove a small portion of deck, so it comes out about 12 feet from the existing deck. That area of vegetation around there is really pretty naturalized. There's some small trees, there's some low bush vegetation in the area, and they're proposing to restore that to a low bush vegetated area upon completion. The existing alteration in the riverfront area here is about 16,000 square feet total. About 7,400 square feet of that is associated with an open area to the rear of the property, adjacent to the path for the preserve, and about 8,600 square feet is associated with the existing home construction, which looks like it was done a little over 20 years ago. Access to the properties on the front opposite the resource area. We did receive the agent's report. We do have some revised plans to leave with you here this evening. We are proposing a couple of areas of restoration, about 693 square feet. Portion of that is to restore the area directly around the proposed addition. And the other area that was suggested, which we're amenable to, is a lawn narrow strip along the existing path associated with the preserve. We would like to do native plantings per the planting list on the Commission's website. Our wetland scientist identified upland plants in this area: black cherry, pitch pine, scrub oak, low bush blueberry, red oak, honeysuckle, red cedar, Virginia creeper, and poison ivy. So other than the poison ivy, they're amenable to any of those things that were already existing natively. No work is proposed to septic system, any sort of septic expansion. They're going to maintain the same number of bedrooms. There's erosion control proposed around the limit of work to prevent any sedimentation during construction. And with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Amy, would you like to elaborate?
Yes, thanks. So I've been communicating with Paul from the
Yes.
office. Do you have those plans?
I do.
I think it would be helpful to be looking at them as
Sure.
we're talking about this.
I'm always a little indecisive whether to hand those out right at the beginning, or sometimes people
Fine.
don't.
And they were in their Dropbox, like,
Okay.
thank you. And I don't need the narrative, I did print that, thank you.
Okay.
But they need it, the narrative as well.
Okay.
And I'll just wait till you're done.
Any of the changes on this plan really are associated just with the plantings. The addition itself is in the same location as the previous plan. I do have quite a few photos of the site with us as well, if you'd like to see any of the photos.
This some of the folks have been out to the site, so.
Okay.
But if you want to have them for the record, you're more than welcome to submit them. So I do recall meeting with Mrs. Lane a while back, I believe, about this proposal. This was when it was still in concept phase. Yeah, okay. I do remember, though. And I said, you've got the riverfront here and buffer zone to coastal bank and marsh and all of that. But seeing as the lot is a decent size, there could be some options here. So I'm going to focus on the Rivers Act, because had this only been buffer zone, 50 to 100 foot buffer zone from the coastal bank, it would be a little bit easier. But because we have the Rivers Act in play, that's kind of where I think the commission and myself too would like more time to be able to review your more recent narrative that you submitted today. So where I'm going to focus on is the Rivers Act is broken up kind of into two pieces. It's about development on undeveloped area and riverfront, and redevelopment with an existing developed area. So this lot was created, I believe, in the late 80s, and so that predates the State Rivers Act of 1996. And the site was altered before 1996 with the structure and appurtenances. So it is redevelopment within previously developed riverfront area. To that effect, and it's redevelopment means replacement, rehabilitation, or expansion of existing structures, improvement of roads, blah, 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 blah. So they're asking to expand an existing structure. There's a couple of caveats to that. So at a minimum, the work is result in an improvement over existing conditions within the 200-foot riverfront area, and the proposed work is within the first 100-foot. Proposed work shall not be closer to the river than existing conditions, or 100 feet, whichever is less, or not closer than existing conditions, but we don't have a 25-foot riverfront area here, except in accordance with, and then there's the citation 310 CMR 10.585F. So, let me go to that. Just give me 1 minute. When an applicant proposes restoration on site of degraded area, alteration may be allowed withstanding these other criteria at a ratio of a 1:1. We require 2:1, but the state requires 1:1. And then, but there's the caveat again of not being closer, that I'm still struggling with here, particularly because you're in the first 100-foot riverfront area. So that's where I need some more time to fully go through this and understand it, because the Rivers Act likes to throw you in a million different directions with their citations, that you have to review them all the time. So that's one area. Second, when I had mentioned to Paul that I was thinking there might be a coastal bank on this property, I wasn't meaning down by the edge of Salt Marsh. I was curious, per your plan here, because you have it labeled down here at about elevation 6. Is it flat enough between elevation 6, which is well below the floodplain, and say where you start going up in elevation 8, 10, 12? I'm curious if that, basically this ridge, if that qualifies as a coastal bank technically.
Okay, where it flattened out, we had brought it in closer to the, I'll say the river or the water in that area there, because it did flatten out there. And then when we get further to the north, we don't really have that flattening going
Further
on
to the north, I don't think that you have a bank up here. It's really just as you come onto the property where it gets pretty steep.
Yeah, so we believe that top of coastal bank closest to the road, I'll say, or to the south,
Okay.
is along the left side of the access, and then it flattened out around the access there.
So what are you calling top of coastal bank? Sorry, because I'm not following, because I'm seeing top of coastal bank at the elevation 6.
Yeah, we're picking that up at roughly elevation 6 there as well. Yeah.
Okay. That's something I'll look into. And then in terms of mitigation, so the state wants a minimum of 1-to-1 mitigation, we want 2-to-1. And as mitigation, you're showing restoration of some degraded area near the dirt path that is associated with HCT, the restoration, I should say, of Cold Brook Preserve. If that, and I haven't had a chance to go see if that is truly bare or not. But for rest, we would be looking to have more specifics and not just a plant from the native plant list. We would want a couple different types, numbers, things like that.
Okay.
And then revegetating of disturbed area that you have to disturb in the process of doing the work is not, we would not consider that mitigation.
Okay.
I had thrown out some other potential ideas, and I know in your narrative, in terms of, could you relocate the structure? And I understand the want for a bigger one-level, first-level house. One idea was to move it to where kind of the bulk of the existing deck is now outside. So yeah, it wouldn't be going closer to the river. And also, there's a path with a deck close to the restored area of the river that I had mentioned potentially could be removed, and the owners did not want to do either of those options. So you're proposing in lieu fees as some mitigation, and in lieu fees, as per our regulations, should only be used when there are no other options for restoration on the site. So I don't see this project as eligible for in lieu fees, because I do see there being other options. And those can be discussed further. So I think that's where I'm gonna leave off now. My recommendation would be to the commission to ask questions and make comments and try to clarify some things, and then to take it under advisement as we just received new information, and continue to your next meeting, which I had mentioned to your associate.
Very well. Wayne, can we start with you?
At this point, I need to study this Rivers Act thing a lot more, because it's very confusing. I don't have anything.
Okay. David?
Yeah, I think we need some more guidance on the interpreting the Rivers Act, and also maybe some more information about what the mitigation would look like, just to your point about, there looks to me to be plenty of room there for further planting as opposed to the fee in lieu of. So that said, I would like a little bit more time as well, so I'm behind the idea of continuing.
Susan?
Was there a reason the addition was proposed to go out and closer to the river versus extend was it aesthetic? Like, was there a specific reason as to why that was chosen and no other options?
It was floor plan, really, how it connects in with the body of the house and the existing rooms within the existing house. The room going off the back is quite narrow, and I don't have a copy of the floor plan, but it really had to do with the floor plan. Maybe that's something that we could provide to help demonstrate.
That would be helpful, just to get my mind wrapped, like, why we couldn't go.
Okay.
Sophia? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Sophia?
I guess I just wonder if you have any comments to what Amy spoke about the Rivers Act.
Yeah, we do feel that it is a redevelopment project, so we do believe the commission has the discretion, obviously, with a plan that you're satisfied with. But I do believe the commission has the discretion to approve this under the redevelopment, and we're glad to work with Amy on that and see if we can find common ground. And I agree that that riverfront section, 10.58, is the worst thing in the world to ever have to read, or it's terribly written. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it sounds like it's a little bit sticky with the new structure within the 100-foot river part. Sounds like maybe that's just a.
That's really the thing, that is,
Yeah.
with new structure within the 100, and that is the closest, technically, part of the house. yeah.
There's not a single paragraph in that section that seems to connect with each other in a black and white. It's a chasing your tail,
Yeah.
refer to another section, hop, skip, and jump over to another section.
Yeah.
It's, yeah. So we'll be glad to work with Amy on that and see what we can come up with.
That'd be great, and maybe if there's a potential for like more comment on what impact it would or wouldn't have if, you know, if indeed like that is kind of the rule of thumb, that might be helpful. My only other comment is that, I appreciated on the old plan, there was a plant list and there was hay-scented fern on there, and I think that's a nice thing to see, is like something with an herbaceous layer in
Mhm.
addition to shrubs, so I was happy to see that, and if, you submit a new plan, a new list of native plants, I would be happy to see something like that.
Yeah, we'll be glad to do that. This was a little bit of a rush to at least be responsive, so,
Sure,
but we're glad to work with you on that.
thank you.
And also just to note too, that the area where the addition is proposed is fairly level. We don't have any steep slopes or really any runoff, but if there's things like dry wells for roof drains or things like that that we can consider, we're glad to look at anything like that that might be amenable to the commission.
Personally, I don't have a particular issue with the addition being where it is, but given the location overall, I would favor some fairly extensive planting to bolster that entire area. I would also support removing the deck further down the line just to preserve that and perhaps replenish that with vegetation as well. Only my opinion.
The deck down the path.
Yeah, all the way down the end. But, I guess that's all I can add, but I agree it should, I think we need a little more time to process the whole situation. Any remarks from the audience or online? Yes, sir?
If you come up to the mic, that would be helpful. Thank you. Yes, just for the record, state your name.
I'm Tom Lane. I'm one of the co-applicants. I really wanted to ask you about your comment about the coastal bank. I guess some of you visited the property. If you're to the left of our house, there's a split rail fence, and there's what looks like a dirt road when it doesn't have snow in it. And that was an easement for working the bog when it existed. Of course, nobody can claim a right to that easement because there's no bog, but it's there. And I just want to make it clear that that's basically on our property. So there's some flat area that's available to do mitigation if necessary. I'm trying to understand the coastal bank thing, though. If I'm at the split rail fence, if I look up to the right, there's a little bit of a cliff or a steep bank going towards our house. Is that what you're talking about?
So what I'm talking about, you can come over and look at the plan if you like. So what they have marked is right kind of along the edge of the marsh there. What I'm talking about is the contours here. It's pretty steep in this area along the edge of Hoyt Road, the corner there. So because this is so far below floodplain, my curiosity was because this slope is less than 10 to 1. I always get confused with the less than or greater than, as defined by the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act for what a coastal bank is, which is a vertical buffer in the event of a big flood. My question was, does technically this area, this line roughly in here, count as a coastal bank and then need a buffer? Here, it's your slope is more gradual, your hillside, versus right on that tight corner on Hoyt Road, it's pretty steep. So I just wanted to see if that technically would qualify as a vertical buffer there,
Okay, thank you.
okay?
Judy Lane, one of the owners. You had some questions regarding the floor plan. It's, I know you had a question by, we weren't looking at putting out where the existing deck is, where, the large deck.
Yeah.
And that area is, we enjoy that area in the summertime. We're out there all the time. We have dinners out there, breakfast out there, guests out there, because that's a nice, large space. Where a lot of the other space in the house is a lot more narrow, which you can't see because you don't have the floor plan of the house. So it's a really, really nice area. And then in the wintertime, when we can't use that area, our living room is small, it's a cape, so it's a small area. There's the sunroom that we have what we call the sunroom, that goes out to the deck. That room is it's on the outside, it's 12 feet from outside to outside. So the inside, it's really quite narrow. And so if you're trying to make that more of a living area, or to go out to a new extension, that all becomes narrow, and then you just extend a long, narrow roof line. So you're not really gating much for, you get just a really long line. If you try to make it wide like the deck area is, then you get a really funny roof line situation going on. And it would become a lot more expensive to work all that architecturally and by construction. And it just seems simple, to create a room that's off just between the kitchen and the back of the house, just create it out straight going out. And then basically a square room, 16 by 18. And the other thought we liked about it was in the wintertime, the house is quite shady, and that way we would get the south sun coming in. So it just seemed to make a better flow for the house instead of a long, narrow room. So that was one reason why we put it there. When we started this process, I didn't know about the whole Rivers Act, but I heard about it from you, but I just didn't know. I thought, well, surely they would let us go out another 13 feet from the existing deck, because the deck is just over 5 feet wide already. So, and there's no trees that we'd be taking down. It's just the low vegetation that's there. And we've been very good about protecting the area towards the whole cranberry bog. We've kept it natural. The front side of the house is more of our formal gardens. Can't expand out toward the front of the house, and so that just was really the only alternative we had. So that's why we did it there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
So our next available hearing would be February 4th, if that date works for you. February 4th?
We can make that work?
It's a Wednesday, 2 weeks from now.
Oh,
I'll probably be in touch with you either end of the week or by early next week.
Okay.
About that, so. So this would be 5th, 4th. So we're looking for a continuance.
I will move for continuance for this hearing for February 4th.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've been communicating mostly with Paul. See if I have your email.
I've been on the emails. It's just Rick at Grady Consulting. Yeah.
I'm sure it's in the application, primary application. Okay. Perfect, even easier. Thank you.
Next one's just a continuance,
Yeah, the continuance for that one, but you gotta announce it, because we had continued it to this date, but they asked for another continuance.
okay? Well, the next hearing would have been Vincent Helfrich, 29, 31, and 33 Snow Inn Road. And the applicant has requested a continuance.
Yes, correct. They need to go to the zoning board of appeals first, per, the Wetlands Protection Act requires them to go to ZBA before us.
Okay. Do we have a date?
February 4th.
Fourth?
4th is gonna be a busy meeting.
I will move for continuance to February 4th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Do you have on your agenda, it's not on the site summary, the rescindication of 11 Riverbend? Oh, okay, it's in the orders of conditions.
Yeah, that's
Apologies.
That's a couple down the line. Did you want to do that?
No,
yet?
go in order. For some reason, I didn't capture it in my site summaries, but
Okay.
that's okay. We'll just do it as the last one.
All right. Next item is order of conditions for William and Nancy Doherty at 75 Shore Road. Map 2, parcel K3-F, SE 32, 2627.
This is on your table. It was in Dropbox today too. Sorry, it wasn't there till today. This one was fairly straightforward. This was the demo rebuild on Shore Road that was actually less square footage in your area, so we didn't have a mitigation requirement. So it's pretty much just site cleanliness, how they're gonna keep the property going forward, stuff like that.
Was this the one where I asked about the post-construction replanting and stuff?
Oh, you are right. I will put a condition in as such that it's to be the landscaping within the 100-foot buffer zone of the new house has to be approved by the commission or its agent and has to be at least 50% native. Does that sound good? That's typically how we do it.
50?
Well, anything in the 50 should be
Okay.
native.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we haven't really been clear about the 50 to 100.
How about 75%?
Fine, we can see what they say.
Okay. I feel like that's an easy.
Thank you.
Honestly, it's an easy ask.
Add planting condition.
Do we need to vote on that approval?
Yes, please. So the vote would be a motion to close the public hearing and issue the order.
With the amendment.
Yes.
Everybody clear? Everybody ready to move ahead?
Yeah.
Okay. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn or close out the order for 75 Shore Road, map 2, parcel K3-F, SE number 32-2627.
Second.
And that would include the additional conditions
Right.
Sophia mentioned.
Okay.
Okay.
With the amendment.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the next one.
Okey-dokey. This one's coming around. The next one is 140 Forest Street. This is the one where they had added additional plantings out near the road for you. Yeah. Give you a second to look at it.
You wanna
Anything?
need more time?
So again, this would be a vote to close the public hearing and issue the order.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for 140 Forest Street, map 31, parcel D7, SE 32-2624, and approve the order of conditions.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Yeah, now go per your agenda.
Rescind the order of conditions.
Yes.
And the next item is to rescind the order of conditions for 11 River Bend, map 1, parcel G1-9, SE 322571.
So just to give you a little bit of background without going too much into it, so this was the first project that they, of the 3 that they've recently applied for in the last 2 years, and this was for the, this was for a new bulkhead and several hundred square feet of floats to support scallops. And we approved the project. It was appealed. We had a on-site meeting with DEP over the summer, early summer. DEP then takes everything under advisement and then goes back to consider things. And it had been a while. We just recently received something from DEP, and the applicant did too, saying they can't complete their review until they go to MEPA, which is another state agency. So the applicant got that and made, I got copied on an email asking for them to withdraw their application with DEP. So I followed up and I said, do you want to withdraw your application with us as well, essentially, and they, under both the act and the bylaw, and they said yes. So I don't know if they have, I have not heard if they have future plans to come back or anything like that
The Scholar project is dead?
for now.
Oh.
What's MIPA?
Massachusetts, I should know this.
Environmental.
Massachusetts Environmental Protection Act.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So, okay, wait, do we know, they need a review from them, and that's,
They need a MEPA, they need to be reviewed by MEPA.
in order to do that, they have to withdraw?
No, not necessarily. They could have stayed, asked to stay the proceedings and file with MEPA, but they elected not to do that. And I don't know why.
Interesting.
Okay. So that was an extended period of time that it took to get that result for these folks.
A year,
Which was-
almost, right?
That's,
6 or 7 months for DEP to respond with that response.
that is unfortunate for the state to respond so poorly. A lot of people put a lot of time and money into things, and
Right, you think
to
it's
have
the
it postponed like that,
conversations,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, that's a black eye on that agency. Well,
so you need to vote to rescind that order of conditions.
okay.
Okay. I move that we vote to rescind the order of conditions for 11 Riverbend Road, map 1, parcel G1-9, SE 32-2571.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oy,
Motion carries.
oy, oy, oy.
I got 2 sets of minutes. Do December 17th first? Oh. Yeah, sorry.
Can I ask a procedural question before we?
Sure.
So, the Deanne Fiorelli, the 140 Forest Street,
Uh-huh.
so, only because I'm still capped, I don't think I followed anything all the way through. So you do a notice of intent, which we discussed, continue to the next meeting, which I think I might have, that was the one I missed. And then the order of conditions, like, when we approved the notice of intent, we came up with an order of conditions, and then it's a separate thing that happens in a
Yep.
subsequent meeting.
So they filed the notice of intent, we have the hearing.
Yep.
We kind of approved the project contingent upon these draft conditions, and the conditions are to be things that we've kind of discussed here for the
Yep.
most part. And then, so I draft it, and at the next meeting, you close the public hearing and issue the order.
Got it. And then approve the order.
Yeah.
Okay. All Right.
issue, approve, yeah.
Yep.
Same thing. And RDAs, they have kind of minimal conditions on them. They're usually the smaller projects farther away from the wetlands that you're seeing.
Okay.
So I put a couple of boilerplate conditions, but nothing, they don't have a separate, several pages.
Okay.
17th,
December
I
17th.
got Viv's edits on, through Dropbox. And they were just, they were,
They're two capital letters.
yeah, it's grammatical, it's not substantive, yeah. People want 2 minutes to breeze through them if you haven't. Especially the newer set just was finished, so.
Good to approve, but I have one more question on earlier tonight.
Mhm.
I just want to make sure you captured it, because I wrote it down in the notes, but I'm not sure when, Soph made the approval, the -3 determination? Did you catch
It's,
that?
it will be included in there, yep.
Everybody ready?
Yep.
You wanna do them both together,
Sure.
one motion?
I don't know.
Where is our? I'll make a motion, I feel like it's become my thing. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for December 17th and of 2025 and January 7th of 2026 of the Harwich Conservation Commission.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It's like our thing now.
Motion carries.
It's like our closing.
Any other business or announcements anybody would like to make?
I got a couple of things, questions or whatever. Champion Tree Service, have we heard anything from those people?
We have not, I'm requesting that they are present next time.
Okay. And the other thing, I noticed down at Thompson's Field, I just happened to wonder what the game plan is. I noticed it cleared out a lot of the understory and left all the pine trees in that area there. What is the purpose of leaving the pines and not the oaks?
There's, so if you recall, maybe 15 years ago, before we started cleaning that up, so it's per the Thompson's Field Land Management Plan.
No, I think they already did it, maybe.
For the Thompson's Field Land Management Plan to manage it more as a field.
Yeah.
Why it's pines versus oaks, that's because before we thinned everything out, there were no oaks, really.
Okay.
So because the oaks, they were thin, there were a
Right.
couple thin ones, but the majority of the larger trees there were pitch pines. So we're not going any farther. The mowing on the north side is a trial. They left a couple of clumps of desired vegetation. Everything else grows back, so the sweet fern, the huckleberry, things like that. So we're trying to keep the larger woody vegetation out to promote the sandplain grassland heathland, which is there. To see if that is worthwhile doing it that way, or if you go farther back into the field, we've been doing it all by hand pretty much every year. And cutting and burning, which is extremely labor intensive and fun, but there were no substantive oaks other than, 1 or 2 inch caliper oaks
Yeah.
when we did that original cutting.
Okay.
And the idea was to get rid of the shade, and oaks do have more shade when they leave more leaves.
I noticed there's a lot of white oaks on that section
Yeah.
that hasn't been done yet. And it's advantageous to the wildlife to leave white oaks,
Yeah.
because the deer and the turkeys
Yep.
and chipmunks and everybody, it's their food source.
We're not planning on doing more.
Okay.
Yeah.
That answers my question.
else have anything?
Did you cook anything at the burning?
At the what?
The burn? Did you cook anything? Potatoes
I
and mashed
didn't. I turned our AmeriCorps members on to banana boats, so had them make banana boats on the fire. We did that at the big group burn, and then they brought stuff for that.
Banana boat?
What's a banana boat?
What is a banana boat?
This is really important at
Pray
this.
tell me.
Do you sing this,
I
do
had
you
to
sing
ask,
the
'cause
song
I
at the
missed-
same time?
We could. We could. So you take a banana, you peel just one section, right? Then you slice the banana lengthwise, kind of pull it apart, but leave it in its, husk or whatever. And you stuff in that crevice chocolate, coconut, peanut butter chips, anything that you might think is really good. You shove it in there, put that flat back on, wrap it in foil, and throw it on the fire for 10 minutes.
That does sound
Sounds
interesting.
delicious. Sorry, I missed it.
Well,
If it's any incentive,
Yeah.
we could do it sometime.
Will work for banana boats.
Exactly.
I never heard of them.
well, do we have any
It's
other-
a something,
any other business?
Harry Belafonte music. Same time.
it's something I learned in my AmeriCorps year, 19 years ago, my AmeriCorps year, and something I've taught all the members
Yeah,
after
that's
that.
pretty cool.
So. Adjourn?
I will make a motion, we adjourn the meeting of the Harwich Conservation Commission of January 21, 2026.
Second.
Motion's made and second, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Good evening and thank you.